Hello guys, Belle here, going to walk you through how to acquire the Legion fishing artifact weapon. I'm going to walk you through from beginning to end, including showing you the quest, and I will also be showing you the artifact weapon itself, as well as the traits and the way that you acquire the artifact power. This is the whole shebang, so you'll get everything that you need from this video. Now before we get started, let's talk about the requirements for the artifact weapon. The first requirement is you do need to be level 100. You need to have a level 800 fishing skill. It's not that hard to get. I'll show you a way that you'll be able to get it rather quickly later in the video. And you also need to have the achievement Bigger Fish to Fry, which requires that you catch all the rare fish in Legion. And we're going to talk about that later. I'm actually going to break down where you get the lures and how you use them and being able to acquire that. Now, once you've completed those three things, you will fish the pool, any random pool in Broken Isle, and you will get the luminescent pearl, which I'm going to show you how that works, and I'm also going to show you the entire quest line after that. There's about 4 different quests that you have to do and complete to be able to get the artifact weapon. Now, there's a couple things that you're going to want to make sure that you have beforehand. Now, the most important thing is going to be bag space. You want to make sure that you have a good amount of bag space ready to go. As you see, I have a lot of fish and some other random stuff, which we're going to talk about this artifact power later. But you're going to want to make sure you have the bag space for it. I had more fish than this. I actually had to go unload some of my stuff because the lures that you need, you actually have to farm those from the zones unless you want to go buy them from the auction house. Not all of them are available on the auction house. Some of them, like the stunned angry shark, which I'll show you that later, you actually have to, it's on a duration timer when you pick it up. So a couple of these you're going to actually have to farm. If you don't want to spend the money in the auction house, then you'll need to farm all of them in each zone. Now you want to make sure you have clean bag space so that you have a lot of room to go and not have to go back to your bank. The second thing that you're going to need to make sure that you have is you're going to need a fairly good amount of arcane lures. Now, it does say it increases your chance to catch bait in Broken Isles by 100% for 10 minutes. This will allow you to actually catch what you need for the lures. The problem with it is it isn't a guaranteed. So that 100% doesn't mean it's a guaranteed drop every time you fish that pool. It just means that you have a 200% chance of actually getting the bait and or lure that you need to be able to catch these rare fish. And you're also going to need a fair amount of oversized bobbers. My fishers out there already know what these are, but you can buy them right here at this lovely fishing trainer and supply vendor here in Delaran. Buy yourself a ton of them. They last for 10 minutes. Go ham, enjoy yourself. Or I'm sorry, they last for 30 minutes. Go ham, enjoy yourself. It makes it a lot easier for you to see the fish. If you've never used them, it makes it a lot easier to see your bobbers. So definitely something that's going to be important for you to have on hand. Now, the arcane lures, you're actually going to get those from Conjurer Margos, and he is on the floating island that's just a little bit northwest of Delaran. It does cost 1 drowned mana for each one, so make sure you go see him, do what you need to do to be able to get that lure. Anything that'll increase your chances if you're actually farming the lures and not purchasing them from the auction house is going to be a good thing. So before we get into each zone and which lures you need for each zone to be able to get your fish, my only tip that I would give you as far as farming these, the bait themselves, they only come from pools. So in order for you to be able to get the lures, you have to fish the pools in the zones to be able to get them. So what I did is I started with a Zuna, worked my way around. I basically went in, you know, in row in the map. I just went from one zone to the other. I didn't attach any of the lures because they're all on a 2-minute duration. I didn't attach any of the lures to my fishing pole until I got all of them. So some I did farm, some I purchased, but I would recommend, like, if you're starting in a Zuna, you get all 3 lures before you go ham and just do it. You can do it either way. As you get a lure, you can do it and grab that fish. I'm kind of weird in the way that I like to do things. I'd like to make sure that I have everything I need before I actually get started doing what I need to do to complete this achievement so that you can move forward and get what you need. So whatever strategy you choose, just make sure you have that you're prepared and ready to go. Now, let's get into the different zones and what lures and what fish you need in those zones. And then a little bit later, we are going to talk about some things regarding the artifact weapon and regarding how you acquire the artifact power, because it is separated from regular artifact power. And also some of the uses. I do break down the traits on the artifact weapon themselves. So let's go ahead and get started, and we are actually going to start with a Zuna. The 3 lures that you're going to need for a Zuna is going to be the scrog toenail. And the scrog toenail, basically, when you're fishing, a murloc will pop up, you'll kill him, you'll get the lure that you need from that. So you need that one. And that will give you the aromatic murloc slime that you need for the Lay Shimmer Blenny. The Rusty Queenfish Brooch, this is going to make the ghostly queenfish pools visible. You cannot see them without this lure, so you are going to need this for the ghostly queenfish. And then finally for Zuna, you do need the pearlescent conch. The pearlescent conch is for the Narthalos Hermit in Zuna here. So those are going to be the 3 that you're going to need for those, so make sure that you grab them. Now there is a buff on this one, so I am going to see if I can fish it up real quick before the buff goes away. I might have already screwed myself because I was talking, but I'm going to try it anyway. And there's the murloc. Now you get to see me killing the murloc, and then we'll get the lure that we need. And the toenail I farmed, that took me the longest to farm of all the other ones. So there we go. That gives us the slime. So the slime is going to be what you need in order to be able to get the Lay Shimmer Blenny fish. So there you have it. Those are going to be what you need for Zuna. For Val'sharah, you need 3 lures, which are relatively easy. The first one, which is going to be the rotten fish bone. I got this. This took me the longest actually to get, and I actually ended up buying it from the auction house. This is for the ancient mossgill. And then you need the Nightmare Nightcrawler, and this is for the Tarrowfin. And then last, you need the Drowned Thistle Leaf. This is going to be for the Thorned Flounderer. Now, or Thorned Flounder, rather. These were a little bit difficult to come by, so I gave up after a lot of farming in Val'sharah, trying to farm the pools to get the rotten fish bone. So I ended up buying it from the auction house. I think I spent maybe like 400 or 500 gold. So I did end up buying it. A lot of these lures, as I stated previously, you can purchase them from the auction house if you need to. So now that I have these 3 lures, I can move on to Val'sharah. Those are the lures that you're going to need for this zone. Now, another important thing to note is you don't actually have to fish in a pool with these lures activated, as they only have a 2-minute, they're only on a 2-minute buff. You can fish anywhere in the zone that you get these fish from. The last couple fish that I got that were the rare fish, I did not actually fish a pool to get them. For the rotten fishbone, I wanted to show you how it works because it's not a simple just click the buff on. When you click this, when you're ready for it, it will attach basically a rotten fishbone to your raft or wherever you're at. And what'll happen is the druid will actually come and eat the fishbone. Once he eats the fishbone, he runs away. You then get the buff that you need, the 2-minute buff, to be able to fish out of this pond to get the rare fish here. Wanted to make sure you guys seen that so that you didn't get confused. So for High Mountain, there are 3 rare fish that you need to catch here using those lures that you have to get. Now for the ancient High Mountain salmon, the lure that's needed is going to be the funky sea snail. What you'll do is you'll use this and it'll actually spawn a drog bar, which when you kill it, it'll drop a salmon lure. So I do have the salmon lure here already. I cheated and bought it off the auction house only because I had been trying to get the other one to drop. And for the sake of the video, I wanted to get it done. Now, the next one that you're going to need for the rare fish is going to be the Cold River Carp. And the lure needed for that is going to be the Frostworm, which, as you see, I have here. And then the last one here is going to be the Mountain Puffer. The lure needed is going to be the Swollen Murloc Egg. So basically, these are the 3 that you're going to use for High Mountain. These are the lures that you're going to need for the Stormheim rare fish. The first one is going to be the Moosehorn Hook. When you apply this to your fishing pole, you'll be able to catch a silver scale minnow. That silver scale minnow is going to be what you need to be able to catch the thundering storm ray. And then next up, you're going to actually need the ancient Vrykol ring. This is going to let you be able to see the Oodle Fisk pools. You can't see those without the ancient Vicro ring. And then the third one here is going to be the soggy drake scale. This is going to be for the gray belly lobster. So those are going to be the 3 that you need for Stormheim. For Suramar, you're going to need the demonic detritus. Maybe I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I'm sure somebody will correct me. But you're going to need this, and this is actually going to give you the tainted rune scale koi. Then the next one you're going to need is you're going to need the sleeping murloc. This will give you what you need for the seer spine puffer. And then last here in Suramar is going to be the enchanted lure. This will get you what you need for the magic eater frog. So those are going to be the lures that you're going to need here in Suramar. Fishing the pools in Suramar, you can get these lures. A little bit of farm time was required. I had to purchase one of them from the auction house, but they were relatively cheap. So if you don't have the time to farm for them, you can buy them from the auction house. So we'll get the 3 fish done, and then we can move on to the very last, which is going to be the Great Sea. For the Sleeping Murloc, I recommend you going back to your garrison to actually use this one, because he's for the Sleeping Murloc, what happens is he's going to spawn, he's going to drop a fish on the ground, and you have to grab it. If you do it in an open area, somebody else can actually pick up your fish. So it's recommended that you go to a place that's just yours, that you don't have to share, and that way it makes it a lot easier for you to be able to pick up the fish and be able to do it that way. So I definitely recommend, and it was recommended also from Lycan, that you do it in your garrison, so that way nobody else can click on your fish. So he's got to just run over them, actually, and catch all the fish. We dropped them pretty much everywhere, and I think we've gotten them all. Pretty sure that was all the fish. And now we didn't really need to grab them all. If you were doing this previously, then you probably would have, if you were doing this before you were skill 800, then you would want to catch them all, because you can throw them back into the water and you could get it up to max. But I didn't really actually need to catch all of them. I only needed to catch a fish. So definitely want to make sure you do that in your garrison if you're not 800 yet and you want to utilize, because when you throw those back, you get 5 skill points for every one you throw back. So definitely a little interesting mechanic there. So now the last 3 that we do have to do of the set are going to be the ones in the Great Sea. I have the lure for those. The ones for the Great Sea that you need, we have the Axefish lure. Now the Axefish lure is needed for it's actually needed for the Axefish itself. Now the cool thing about this one is when it drops, it actually drops message in a beer bottle. Once you have that message in a beer bottle, you open it up and this item will be stuck in there. Then the next one you're going to need is the Decayed Whale Blubber. Now the Decayed Whale Blubber is going to be used for the Ancient Black Barracuda, and you can fish these items anywhere in the Great Sea. Now I did get some of these lures I got from random pools throughout all the zones, so there isn't anything zone specific there to my knowledge. But I can tell you that the Stunned Angry Shark I did find only in Stormheim. Now there's an interesting mechanic with the Stunned Angry Shark that I'm actually going to show you guys here in a second. The Stunned Angry Shark, as you see, you loot it. It's on a 60-second duration, so you have 60 seconds to use it. Otherwise, it does disappear from your bag. Right-click it. He's relatively easy to kill. You just need to kite him. Kite him and then kill him, and then you'll actually loot the squid from the shark's body. So this was pretty cool. I thought this was interesting. I got the shark like 4 times here in Stormheim and didn't realize that it disappeared, and I thought I was going crazy when it kept disappearing out of my bag. So keep in mind, if you get it while you're still on a lure from another fish that you're trying to catch, you want to stop what you're doing and get this real quick, get it out of the way, and then hop back to your lure to get that fish taken care of, because the angry shark will disappear in 60 seconds. For the Ancient Black Barracuda, you need to drop your whale blubber on the ground, and it'll attract the ravenous fly. When the ravenous fly comes down, you'll loot the fly. That'll give you the 2-minute buff that you need to be able to fish in that pool for that specific one right there. and then you can fish the pool, you have the buff, and you'll be able to get the ancient black barracuda. That one was actually quite easy. I dropped it in the ground the first time, or in the water instead of the ground the first time. Once you get your last fish, which I actually had to go back and do one in Suramar over, I used the lure wrong. I thought I got the rare fish I needed, but I didn't actually loot it. I looted a different one. So then you get the achievement and you're good. While you guys are getting the rare fish, you will notice that you will be getting these fish, and there will be a tooltip that talks about throwing these fish back in the water. So you do need to be on land or your fishing raft, and you need to toss these back into non-shallow water. Now, when you toss them in the water, it will actually give you 5 skill points each, which if you look at my screen here, I did this and didn't record the video, which was not very smart. So what I did is I used this as a means to get max level fishing, and then of course I got my achievement. So you just want to save these so that you can toss them back in, and then you can get your max level fishing and be good to go, because that is one of the requirements. So make sure that you take advantage of getting these rares that you fish up by being able to toss them back in the water and grant your fishing skill. So just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that you needed to keep that. Once you have completed the 3 steps and you're ready to acquire the artifact weapon, what you're going to do is you're going to go to a random pool in Draenor, doesn't matter where you go, and you're going to fish until you fish the luminescent pearl. That's actually going to be what begins the quest, and once you do that, you're free to roam about and complete the other, I think there's like 4 quests in total. But I do have that video here. You can feel free to skip the video if you don't want to watch the quest for it, and just skipped right to the part where I talk about the artifact power for the weapon, and the information that you're going to need on the artifact weapon itself will be as soon as the quest is over. Your artifact power for your fishing weapon is different from the rest of the artifact power that you do collect for your other weapon. You'll actually get that. The rares that you fish up, those, once you have the weapon and the weapon is equipped, when you fish those rares, those will actually turn into 50 artifact power per fish. So if any that you caught previously, any of the rares that you caught previously before you had the weapon equipped, it will just be the skill ups. So you'll want to make sure that you keep, you have your artifact weapon equipped when you're doing this so that you can get the rare fish. Those will then turn into the 50, it'll be 50 artifact power per. So the artifact power for your fishing relic once you get, or for your fishing artifact weapon once you get it. The artifact power is acquired the same way you acquired the rare fish. So you'll need those same baits. You'll need all your same baits to go to those pools and actually fish the fish that you got previously. Instead of throwing it back in the water and getting the 5 skill points, you'll actually use it for your artifact power. Now, as you see, what I did do is there's 2 ways that are going to be really, really easy for you to be able to get this artifact power. The ghostly queenfish bait, which is the ghostly queenfish bait, which is actually going to be that rusty queenfish brooch. That is what you're going to use in this scenario, as well as the murloc one, which is the sleeping murloc. Now, we talked about this previously in this video. We talked about the sleeping murloc and how you wanted to leverage that, where you wanted to go to your garrison, wake up the sleeping murloc, he drops the fish on the ground. Now, the cool part is when he dropped the fish on the ground after I acquired the weapon, I got 50 artifact power per fish I picked up. Obviously, do not do this in a public place. You want to make sure you're doing this in your garrison, or if you didn't go through Draenor and you don't have a garrison, you need to do it in a public place because other people can pick up your fish, and then you lose out on all that artifact power. So this was approximately 4 of those the sleeping murloc bait. I dropped the bait, murloc dropped the fish, I ran around and caught it. So this is actually quite a bit because this is 50 artifact power. All these ghostly queenfish, which is another 50 each, every time I fished in the ghostly pool, I got one of these, and this was just one lure. So one 4-minute lure was what I got from all of these. So basically what you'll do is you'll do this the same way that you do your normal artifact power, and which you have to actually go to the water. Sorry, I kind of left that part out. But you actually go to the fishable water, and you'll be able to put that on your artifact. So I'm actually going to go to a pool of water so that I can actually show you how that works. So now, since I'm already here in my garrison, because that's where I did the sleeping fish, I'm just going to go ahead. You toss them in. You gain your artifact power. Boom, boom, boom. You're just going to go through all of these. Now, once we go all through all of these, we'll see how much we have, and we'll go and actually start purchasing the artifact. We'll start purchasing the traits that we need. I know that we needed 100 artifact power, or 300 artifact power for the first one. But let me learn these. So in order to be able to add the artifact power that we just did to the weapon, you're going to go to the Underlight pearl here by the fishing vendor. When you click that, as you see, all that artifact power that I showed you guys previously, that gave me 3,100, which is pretty nice. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the undercurrent. Now, this does teleport you to the nearest fishing node. It has a 5-minute cooldown. It's pretty nice. It only has a 200-yard range, so if you're way, way far away and there isn't a fishing node, unfortunately, it's not going to happen. So we're going to go ahead and spend that artifact power so that we can now actually see what we have going on here. So I have rank 1 of 1 here. This is going to be your on use, of course, so this is going to be super helpful. And then obviously we're going to go in the order in which we can get them. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to unlock, but blood fishing grants a chance to catch blood of Sargeras while fishing in the Broken Isle. We definitely are going to want that. As you see, that then opened the other ones. Now, let's see. The cool thing about these is for each trait, for each fish that you can get in each zone, unlocking these ranks here will give you the ability to just fish an entire pool at once. So basically, you'll cast it in, you'll fish the entire pool at once. That's pretty freaking amazing. And that's going to be all of your talents here. Each fish here, you'll be able to do the entire school at once. And then this one's going to be better luck next time. Grants a chance to catch boots while fishing in the Broken Isles. Then you have your gold one here, which is going to be Way of the Flounder. This reduces enemy detection by 5% or by 5 yards while fishing. And then here you also have Underlight Blessing. This is become a fish when underwater, allowing you to breathe underwater and swim rapidly, which is actually pretty legit. My favorite one here, of course, is going to be the surface tension. This allows you to walk on water. So this is going to be super helpful for a lot of fishing, especially if you're somewhat of a fishing connoisseur. So it's definitely going to be pretty awesome here. So I imagine that I'm not really sure which way I want to go here for this. I don't have a ton of artifact power, but I do know that I want the ability to be able to walk on water. So the cursed queenfish or the moss gill, probably going to go with this one. And then you need 3 ranks of that. And then you get to unlock your surface tension. And then I want to be able to swim like a fish, which is pretty nice. And then I have enough to... I definitely want the black barracuda because that's pretty much everywhere. And then I'll go get these other ones. I don't do a whole lot of fishing in general, and these pools are a little bit harder to find. The black barracuda angling, the black barracuda pools are pretty much everywhere in each zone. So I figured this would probably be the best one to unlock first because that's the easiest. And then the cursed queenfish, that'll probably be another one because that's relatively easy. And then the moss gill for Valshara is actually going to be quite easy as well. So you guys saw how quickly I was able to get 3100 artifact power. It does take a lot just with the normal artifact weapon that you see. So let's talk a little bit about the appearances, shall we? With the appearance, I know that there's other appearances that are going to be adding to it. Right now it's just the red, but there are several different skins. I'll probably be doing another video or adding on to this video as soon as I have more information on the different skins that you can get for it, because I know that I think there's like 3 other colors that you can get. So we'll just kind of see how that happens and how that works itself out. But here's your little tool tip that shows you the total ranks that you have purchased, increases duration of Legion lure and baits by 8% for every trait purchase, which is really nice. This is going to be super cool to help you get your, it extends the lure time of your baits because you need those baits to be able to get the other fish. So right now we're already increasing it by 8%, so pretty nice. But that's going to be your look at your artifact fishing weapon. So there you have it. If you have any questions, make sure you comment on the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I was thorough enough. If there's anything you guys need, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.